Well, good morning. Welcome. How are you?
Made it into the saddle in time.
You did. You made it in, dragging Mike all the way behind you.
Again.
Yeah. Welcome to Exiles TV on this Thursday morning. Hope everyone is enjoying a good morning. We're gonna have a talk that is fairly specific to East Baton Rouge Parish and Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Gabriel blowing his horn. Am I being called home?
The horn blows at midnight, buddy. That may be me. Sounds like I'm a little hot, but I haven't.
Does anybody beside me smell toast? Is it just me? Anyway, as I was about to say, we're going to have a discussion that concerns Baton Rouge, but it could concern any major city, and that is crime being up, crime being more mobile, funding of police departments, retaining officers, where does the money come from, and what is a reasonable expectation for fighting crime. BRPD Chief Murphy Paul will be with us, as will be the Chief Administrative Officer for East Baton Rouge Parish, Daryl Gissel. It's going to be a lot about facts and figures and what's going on. And quite frankly, we expect an awful lot from our police, but in large measure, we don't support them voraciously, and we don't want to pay them.
That's my biggest problem.
And I find that's a big problem. I really do.
I do have an issue with that. I think that we should pay our police like they do a job that's potentially lethal. To me, I know the city's got budgets and blah, 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 but 40 is a good place to start somebody that's going to be asked to carry a gun, exercise judgment, and possibly be shot at or killed in the line of duty.
Well, we don't talk about police departments the same way we talk about other things. When you talk about economic development, we want to be competitive.
Yeah.
We want to be competitive. Nobody says we want to be competitive with our police department, because we sure as hell are not. Now, we can take an officer here with like 5 years of experience that goes out every shift and doesn't know whether he's going to have somebody who tries to beat on him, shoot him, run him off the road, run a red light while he's responding to an emergency, and T-bone his car, and we're paying him $32,000 a year. And right down the road from Baton Rouge, the city of Gonzales, which has far fewer of those kind of dangers for their police officers, will say, hey, de-stress, come join us, we'll pay you $45K.
And my friends, that is happening. We are having officers lured away from BRPD all the time.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If you're a cop and you're not seeing community support, if you feel like one mayoral candidate said that if you are a member of the BRPD, you are public enemy number one, then you get lured to another department where there's a whole lot less danger and a whole lot less stress and 25% more money. It is a no-brainer. And then public attitudes toward police. We have got a vocal group in our community, just like every other community. If you're watching in New Orleans, you've got it. If you're watching in Jefferson Parish, you've got it. If you're watching in St. John Parish, you've got it. If you're watching in Lafayette, you've got it. If you're watching in Thibodaux, you've got it. You got a very, very vocal group that all they do is want the chief fired and want this officer fired, and they don't support the police, and more importantly, they don't help the police. Someone can get shot down 8 feet from them, and they didn't see nothing.
Yeah, that's a real problem, not only in our city, but in every city. Is it seems everybody, right after the incident happened, they ate a great big didn't see nothing muffin, and no help to the police in solving the crime. There are still, I do hasten to say, there are citizens who are only too happy, if they know anything, to step up and do the right thing and help the police. But there's just not enough of them. And is there anybody more beleaguered in our city government than law enforcement?
No. And I think that is most city governments. And, I'm reminded of that great scene in A Few Good Men, where Jack Nicholson says, You want answers? And Tom Cruise says, I think I'm entitled.
Mm-hmm.
You want answers? I want the truth.
You
can't handle the truth. And a big part of the truth is whenever there is a problem with a police officer or two police officers, you are talking the tiniest tenth of a percentage of most police forces. But there are people in this community who don't want to hear that. They want to throw out the babies with the bathwater. They never appreciate the good that police officers do, but they sure do love to complain and ask for ridiculous solutions to their perception of a problem. And you know what? It wears on you. If you're in the administration of the police department, if you're a street officer, if you're in the administration of the city, it wears on you. It's a much bigger problem than I think a lot of people would like to realize. And that is getting the money to fund them properly, getting the community to do their jobs, and help the police. So we're going to go into that chapter and verse as we continue on Exiles TV. Stick around.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
We're back. It is Exiles TV, and I thank you so much for being with us today. Tonight is the last of the presidential debates. Joe Biden and Donald Trump meet for one last time. Bill, do you expect to see anything different than the blank show that we saw the previous two?
I expect to see nothing more than a bottle of good Cabernet Sauvignon that I opened up last night and had not one drop taken from it. I officially refuse to participate in such foolishness.
What if this time it's not foolishness?
Then,
what if after two? I know that's a big one.
Then I will have missed it without regret still. Because you know what? They're all supposed to be without foolishness.
Yeah, they certainly don't treat them with. They don't revere them like presidential debates were once revered. And, you know, if the candidates did get into it a little bit, little give take, that was a little bit of fireworks to make it interesting. But I mean, the first debate, especially
They
with
don't.
Chris Wallace, it was just nonstop shouting over
They
one another.
don't have any give and take to work with at this point. I don't even know why they're having a debate this late in the election cycle.
It's traditional to have 3. It is 11 days until election, the actual election. I'm kind of with you. Is there any point at this point? And my worry is we have yet another democratically aligned moderator. So will we?
Who is the moderator this time?
I've forgotten her name, but it might be in this article I'm about to open up. But this is a woman who's had close ties to the Obama White House. And Kristen Welker, NBC News.
No idea.
Yeah, but
I noticed they don't get a lot of A-list people other than Chris Wallace that want to do this.
and I don't consider him A-list. He's a disgrace.
Well, no,
He's-
he is A-list from Fox News. He is at the top of their org chart.
Do you remember, though, when journalists used to at least try to put on an air of journalistic objectivity?
Oh, those days are gone.
Chris Wallace was, I mean, the president had to debate Chris Wallace as well as Joe Biden. And same thing for the second debate. The questions for the president were pointed questions, tough questions, and I thought mostly softballs were lobbed at the challenger.
I like I said, that's why I don't want to participate in this foolish. But on a local level,
So you're telling me you're not going to watch, you're going to kick back, enjoy a movie?
I will pick lint out of my dog's navel before I will sit in front of the TV and watch that tripe. I'm not an undecided voter.
I watched 1. I did not watch 2. I'm really on the fence. I think.
And is your life worse for not having watched 2?
No, not at all. But for some reason, I feel like maybe it's the journalist that, I used to be a journalist 7-8 years ago, but
there's programs for that.
Maybe I feel like maybe I feel like I'm supposed to watch. I don't.
Step 1 of the 12 steps.
Just change the channel.
Refuse to care. Step 2, see step 1.
I don't think. I'm in agreement with my friend Roy Fletcher about debates. I don't think debates change minds. I don't think that one Democrat out there who's thinking I'm a Biden person is going to watch any debate, no matter how well the president or the vice president does, and think, wow, you know what, I'm going Republican. It's just, it doesn't change minds. It doesn't change ideals. And we vote idealistically now. We vote based on how much we like.
We don't have any idealists. We vote partisan. We vote anger. We vote all the banal emotions. Getting even, retribution, settling the score, packing this. There are no idealists.
You get this. I just don't like his face.
You know what? That's an even better option. All right. That's the whole thing. But we don't have ideals. Ideals are well thought out and constructed, and they're not swayed by anonymous sources and BS. We don't have ideals. What we have is street fights every damn day. And half the reason we don't even know why the Tigers and the Jets showed up on the same corner at the same time. It's ridiculous. I refuse to be counted in the Nielsen ratings, and I refuse to participate in that fetid, stinking pile of droppings that's going to happen on the major networks tonight. I am not going to do it.
So there's a no. Bill's People Meter will be on AMC or somewhere else.
That is a hard no.
Let's see, what's usually on Thursday nights that I usually watch? Oh, back-to-back reruns of Big Bang Theory on TBS. That's what I
Now, locally,
until 10 o'clock rolls around, and then I watch the rebroadcast of this program and Clarence Bugs.
just when you thought it was safe to visit the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, Sweet Connie has got a trial date.
Oh, we haven't talked much about Drunk Girl lately.
January 4th is the date East Baton Rouge Parish School Board member Connie Bernard will appear in court based on a video in which she appeared to be involved in a physical and verbal dispute with a teenager on August 10th, 2018. My, how time flies.
It has been. It's been a long time. We had fun with that one, though, didn't we?
The original video shows Bernard entering a neighbor's home where a party was happening to investigate and take photos. One partygoer seized Bernard's phone, offering to return it once she agreed to leave the home. In the video, Bernard can be heard screaming, "Call 911," which, by the way, the kids did.
Yeah, because they had an uninvited guest in their
Before
house.
grabbing the young man on the neck and demanding her phone. Deputies arrived, as requested by Connie. And
Didn't work out the way Connie expected.
no,
though,
it
did
didn't. She got a summons. She was charged with misdemeanor entering and remaining after forbidden and simple battery. Both charges can carry 6 months of jail time and potential fines. So it's going to be very interesting. The New Year's Eve party is going to be a little subdued in her neighborhood, I would think.
Yeah.
Unless those damn kids want to have another big party.
And then, of course, she took another shot when she was caught shopping for clothes on the internet during a East Baton Rouge Parish School Board meeting. Gary Chambers made sure everybody knew about that.
Oh, my.
So there are people I think would like to get her off the school board altogether.
You know what? Not going to happen.
As long
Until
as
she's ready.
She's duly elected, and that's hers to hold until such time as she lets it go.
Not going to happen. Now, this thing with the kids, having seen the video, she definitely has some anger management issues that are going to need to be addressed.
Well, I was a little shocked, when I was watching the video up to a point, I was like, well, she's Gladys Kravitz. She's the nosy neighbor who thinks that she has some kind of control over behavior for the whole neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But when she put her hand on that kid's throat, and I didn't think for a moment that Connie Bernard could choke the life out of this kid.
Well, the language.
But that's a big, she dropped some F-bombs and used some salty language.
Some good ones.
But she also just reached up and grabbed that lad by the throat.
Well, you know what? The thing that she's very fortunate for and was probably relying on is this young man had the good grace not to poleaxe a woman, even though she was obviously the aggressor.
If you grab my throat, I'm going to take steps to get your hand off my throat. That's all I can tell you.
She got real lucky with that.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
So
all right.
Anyway.
Time for another. So that's Connie Bernard. Her trial date has been set. We'll see what happens with that. If she's smart for the charge, I think we'd plead guilty.
Well, too late for that now. I mean, she had her chance.
Yeah, you're right. She could have done that at arraignment. So what's the defense going to be? I was drunk. That's what you're charged with. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we are going to talk about police. We're going to talk about policing the city. Our police chief, Murphy Paul, for Baton Rouge, is with us, as well as the chief administrative officer for the city parish, Daryl Gissel. They'll be, I guess, next on Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
You could be driving.
Right now, during the Team Honda Upgrade event, get a new 20 Accord Sport for just $309 a month with no money down, no first payment, and no security deposit. It's time to upgrade to your new Honda at Louisiana's #1 new car dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. We've got a lot to talk about in this segment. Before we do, though, on November 3rd, on your ballot is a constitutional amendment. It is amendment number 4. Now, if you're tired of hearing about fiscal cliffs and the roller coaster we have with budgeting every year, then we're going to urge you to vote yes for number 4. Amendment number 4 ensures predictability, stability, and growth in our budget process. So please, on November 3rd, vote yes on amendment number 4. This message paid for by Pelican Action. You can look at this amendment and all the amendments by going to pelicanaction.org, and we thank you. Now then, on set with us, immediately to my left, is Daryl Gissel. He is the Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Baton Rouge and the Parish of East Baton Rouge. We call them CAOs here. Basically, the position is very similar to what a lot of cities call a deputy mayor. And next to Kevin is Police Chief Murphy Paul. You know these gentlemen. They've been on with us before. They're always very generous with their time. And fellas, Daryl, you and I spoke, and this big debate over crime, policing, retaining officers, this is not just as easy as saying, I want to get 25 new officers and I want to give everybody a raise.
No.
What is the budget situation today?
Well, realizing that $93 million of our $317 million budget goes for police.
Okay.
So public safety takes up about 55% of our overall operating revenue, so it's a huge portion. When we move more money to policing, it means basic services like public works then have to get cut unless we can find a way to raise revenue. Without raising revenue, increasing taxes, in order to give pay raises, we have to find ways to become more efficient. For the last 2 years, we've worked on those efficiency moves aggressively by bringing in people. Murphy knows we've worked for the last year. We had a management study that showed we have the potential of saving up to $9 million by reorganizing how we operate within the police department. But a lot of those moves are really tough. Murphy's worked with finance with us to figure out which one of those efficiency moves actually can be put in place. He's worked with the officers to say, give me your opinion on what can work and what can't. But even when you figure out these are the moves we're going to make, you don't gain that money the same day. It comes in through a given period, through attrition of officers, through ending contracts, et cetera. So that's where we are. The mayor's committed to do everything. She has been committed to give a pay raise. I think we figured, Murphy, the officers are probably underpaid by 20% in order to be competitive with surrounding markets. So we have a lot of room to make up, and that's where we're headed. This budget will have a pay raise for police. We're finalizing that budget within the next couple of weeks, and based on COVID, we know our revenues are going to be affected. So we have to figure out what we can do in terms of having reoccurring revenue. When you give a raise, you have to make sure you have a way to sustain that every year. It's always been the tough point.
Chief, for you it must be very frustrating because you're down what, 25, 30 or more, 100 as many as 100 police officers?
We right around 80 police officers. That's how many vacancies we have. Now we average about 50 vacancies a year for the past decade. So when we pull the numbers, it's right around 50 vacancies every year for the past 10 years.
Well, do you believe pay scale has something to do with the fact that you've got vacancies every year, or is it budget and being able to pay more officers?
No, I think there's a few things that can be contributed to that. How we hire, how we have academies, I think play a role into that. There has been some changes in civil service laws, which makes that process a little easier for us, and how we recruit. Has a lot to do with it. You know, we're fortunate right now. We've had last year we had the lowest turnover ratio that we've had in the past 5 years. Even with the retirements that are going on, we still have young people in our community who want to serve. We have 68 that are going through the training, the background process. We have 102 that are scheduled to take the civil service police exam. I believe it's next week down here in Baton Rouge. We have around 10 going through the process, what we call the post-lateral academy. This is police officers from other agencies who want to come over. So we're going to have that academy. And on November 2nd, we graduate 27 new police officers.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, 27 graduate on November the 2nd. So we're happy about that. So there are positives in that. But I think looking at the turnover ratio, when you look at other agencies, this isn't unique to the police department. State police has vacancies, the sheriff's office has vacancies. You're starting to see these challenges all across the country.
Well, it's suddenly become a very unpopular thing to do, be a cop.
Well, I don't know. It depends on who you listen to, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I think
there's some voices out there that think the police are just the worst.
Well, we have data to show different, right? We know that the people here in our community, the ones we talk to every day, love the police department. We've done surveys, we've done studies to show that. I was surprised. BRAF recently did one. And our favorability is high. And you know, those who have the loudest voices don't always speak for the masses.
Well, and
let me say that.
That's the important point. There are political people in this city, and I'm not going to name names, that these efficiencies that you found in your budget, they'd like to take them away from the police department, dollar for dollar, and put them somewhere else. Well, you know, and while they are still a minority, it bothers me to hear elected officials in our city and state talk about not increasing the compensation for police, but letting it stay static. It bothers me.
Well, it's interesting, when we went through the confirmation of Murphy, or the selection process for a new chief, that was a really open process where the community was invited in. Some of the people who were there were very concerned about policing moves after Alton Sterling incident, but a lot of those people came after that and said, we appreciate being included, we're supportive, we'll do whatever we can to help. So I think Murphy, the mayor, everybody's worked at trying to pull people around. Murphy's had like hundreds of community events to make sure the community feels comfortable with the police.
Yeah,
communities that wouldn't normally be engaged.
Yeah, you know, I like to focus on the positive things, the little wins that we've had. You know, in what we call this current state of policing in America, I get it. You know, everybody saw what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's changed not only here but around the world. There were protests, but the fact is there's been no civil unrest in our city.
Yeah, it hasn't happened
We've had
here.
peaceful protests. We've engaged. We've been very proactive in that. Not just me, the sheriff's office, and other law enforcement agencies, and the response is different here. And that's a fact.
And part of that is because we've put a lot of those things in place, body cameras, procedural changes. And I can say I was in the mayor's office one day concerned that there was an event going on, wanted to make sure she knew about it. Well, she was engaged with community partners, making sure that everything was staying calm. So, I mean, it really has been a community effort to try and make sure we did stay peaceful.
We need to take a quick break. We're going to do that, and we will continue with Chief Murphy Paul and Chief Administrative Officer Daryl Gissel in just a moment on Exiles TV. We're going to put the phone number up when we come back. If you have any questions, you can give us a call, and we will entertain your questions as well. A brief break, and then we're back on Exiles TV. Boy, that's...
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Taste the feeling. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hey, we're back. It is Exiles TV. He's Bill, I'm Kevin, and our guests are Daryl Gissel, who is the Chief Administrative Officer for the City Parish of East Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul. The topic is police pay. How do we get it done? Now, is it a pay raise where you have we've worked out a small pay raise, right?
Right.
And is it a raise or is it a bonus?
Oh, it'd be a raise.
Okay, so it'd be a basic raise going forward.
And you know, there's interesting things that happen. Once you give a raise, let's say if you give a $100 raise, that really costs you about $160 because you have the benefits that you have to add in.
Exactly.
Retirement costs for police are really high. The police in 2003 made a move from the city retirement system to the state retirement system. 2003, that compensation for retirement was 7%. Today it's over 30%. So I mean, retirement costs are huge, and we don't have any real control over those. So in addition to finding money for the raise, this actual salary, we have to deal with the retirement
incidentals.
costs too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a match.
Right.
And I mean, that happens in every big business, and Baton Rouge has become a big business.
Right.
Your legacy costs grow.
And unfortunately, in government, you know, a lot of those retirement costs are locked in. We have no control over those. People say, well, tweak them, rework them. Well, if you have a retirement package, the last thing you want to do is have your employer say, we're taking your money away. We can't really do that.
And you know, we had a plan, and everything was leading up to where we thought we need to be. We did a pay study. That pay study put us around 29-30% below our peer agencies as compared. And we began to look at ways to identify that, and then we had something that nobody expected. It was called a pandemic that really impacted us from an economic standpoint. And, you know, we are very fortunate here. I was reading recently where some of our partners just not too far from here, police officers are taking furlough.
Right, New Orleans,
and there are other areas
police are being
as well.
furloughed.
And, you know, we have not experienced that right now because, you know, we've been committed to making sure that we get there. I understand there's been a pause or a delay, but we are committed to moving in that direction to pay our police officers.
I don't want to touch a sore spot, but I think it's probably not as big a sore spot as it used to be. It seems that the union is on board with this plan, that there's not a lot of back and forth. Do I have a misperception, or the union?
In terms of getting the raise?
Well, and the way you're doing it.
Well,
how you're doing it.
Let's say, I don't think they will argue that we need a raise.
But within the department, I think Murphy knows this. I mean, you have to go in and change and reorganize things. And in any organization, when you reorganize, you make change, it creates fear within people.
See, I know that they've gotten a raise, which will put starting officers up to what? I was going to be nosy. You got 27 rookies. What are they going to be getting paid?
They're coming around, what, 32, 33,000.
See, that's...
And then, but after 6 months,
then they'll
they
be
get
up
the
to
state supplemental
$6,000 with our state supplemental
wouldn't you both like to see something more in the neighborhood of 40 as a starting wage?
Which would,
starting salary?
that 29-30% will put us right where you're talking about.
And the interesting thing is, we always had the ability to raise starting salary, but Murphy's argument is, and he's been correct, that you can't just raise the bottom level, you have to raise everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Because then, and if you bump the bottom, then the bottom person, you have to make sure that everything's nudged up so that
you
the
got to make sure
beginning
your
people aren't
detectives,
making more than
captains,
second
etc.
people.
My follow-up question's for you, and it's about budget flexibility. The city parish fisc, and I'm no expert, but it seems to me it's got a lot of similar problems to the state fisc, and that there are dedicated funds, there are independent taxing districts, and there's a lot of money you guys can't touch when you might need to make adjustments.
I'll make a political statement about campaign. A lot of people are out saying we have $1 billion city budget, we should be able to find money. The $1 billion, all the dedicated funds, library, BREC, road fees, like we have $1 billion budget now because of the new road project. That money's included in there too. But the operating budget is only $317 million, and public safety makes up 55% of that. So you don't have a lot of latitude. And people say, well, we can go undedicate some of those taxes. Well, the voters want to know when they vote for a tax, it's going for a specific purpose. Like when we did the road program, people said, well, vote for roads, but we want to make sure you're not going to rob that money to use for something else.
Would you have to put like a major restructuring, or we're going to start from scratch with everybody? Would you have to put that to the voters in order to do it?
Absolutely, and it would take you at least a year just to get it on the ballot. And then, I mean, so when people talk about these simplistic changes, it's not simple.
Well, and again, I mean, it is just an absolute hydra when you think about and they are actually governments because they have taxing authority, the Library Control Board, BREC, CATS, the airport, you know, and
mosquito abatement.
And people think that the mayor controls those funds, but those individual groups are really overseen for the most part by the city council.
So the mayor president, whoever that is, not just Ms. Broom, but whoever that is, tends to get beat up on for stuff that he or she can't do anything about.
Exactly. You know, we had a call the other day for an animal control issue, which, you know, we like the animal control group, but we don't have control
over Hilton Cole.
Right? So
yeah, but I mean, it's
and people don't understand that. But we all work together.
The biggest part of your property tax goes to the school board. That doesn't pass through city parish government.
And on the city parish end, you know, with COVID, we expected we'd have a $23 million shortfall because the majority of our money comes from sales taxes. Property taxes stayed pretty much steady during COVID, but sales tax have been hit hard. We're lucky we do have rainy day funds. We've had a hiring freeze, so like Murphy said, we haven't had to furlough people. New Orleans has had to furlough police and fire, and that's really tough.
But police have been exempt from that because I just stated we have an academy, we have another one. So the hiring freeze did not impact our ability to hire police officers. I wanted to clarify that.
Chief, I'm sorry, but you go ahead, Bill.
I was going to ask, we understand, I think, a little better now the money. and I think we understand where everybody's head is at.
Yeah.
What a lot of people are not understanding, and I mean this simply as an open question rather than any type of definitive statement, is how well can the city and the police department readjust, at least temporarily, to this crime wave we seem to be having? Moving the chess pieces around when you're short some players is very difficult, Chief. How is it coming? How is it coming out?
So, you know, one of the things that I look at, and, you know, my staff and I, we meet every week, we talk about it, I see what's going on around the country, and one of the things that's happening is we see shooting incidents and homicides and domestic incidents increase since the pandemic. The fact is, crime is down overall. Those are the areas where we're seeing. I wanted to bring some facts here to you when it comes to that. So when we looked at year to date, and this was up to October 1st, when we look at sexual offenses, robberies, assault, battery, residence burglary, vehicle burglaries, thefts, and motor vehicle thefts, we're down around 10.79% compared to 2019, 16.66% compared to prior year. So overall, we're seeing this. But what makes headlines? Shooting incidents and murders. And those are the areas we're trying to understand. Look, we've reduced crime overall, including in those categories, 2 years in a row. And our police officers are doing their job. We're arresting guys. Our homicide clearance rate is right above the national average. So it's not like our police are not doing their job. What's the difference? A pandemic. That is the difference between this year, because everything we were doing before this was working. We've talked about that. So what's the difference in the pandemic? We're seeing this all over. This is not unique to Baton Rouge. You can do your data, your studies in surrounding areas and other areas. It's not unique. We're seeing these issues in other areas as well.
If the restrictions for the pandemic were to be lightened up and we went into a phase 4, do you think that there'd be less psychological stress out there among the populace and therefore
I think the
less
more
crime?
So I think the more we get into our normalcy, we'll see that. So here's what the pandemic has done. The pandemic has created the all of the systems, institutions that we have in place that help us stop violence, right? So what happened during the pandemic? We shut schools down. There were no summer programs. All of our summer events, boxing with the cop, bowling with the cop, kicking with the cop, all of those programs where we're able to engage the community, interrupt violence. Let's think of the woman who's sitting in her house who looked forward to going to work because she's in there with her abuser, look forward to going to the hairdresser. We didn't have schools. We didn't have church. All of those systems and institutions that really help us with crime were interrupted.
Idle hands, the devil's workshop.
And Murphy's figure that's interesting is when you explain that 50% of the homicides actually happen
inside the house
or on the perimeter of a house.
Right.
So these aren't just random street shootings.
We've seen minor arguments turn into shooting incidents. We've seen a lot of increase in daytime shooting incidents. How many times you see that? Group violence. You know, a lot of the groups and gang violence that contribute to our shooting incidents, we had got a handle on that. Pretty much, you saw it going on. Then we see these increases because COVID has interrupted not only that, but how we police as well, because we're trying to do our job and be socially distanced when everything came with masks and everything. I think all of those factors play into that. The interruption of the drug cycle, right? Drug dealers robbing drug dealers because he can no longer get his drugs. And how do drugs come in? They come in plane, train, automobile, right? Buses. What was interrupted during the pandemic?
So you haven't been able to do. You haven't been able to do any of the community outreach programs that you had set out to do, you know, before the pandemic. Are you going to do Boo at the Zoo this year? Or Boo with the Blue, rather?
No, all of those programs were interrupted, and I think that that's an unintended consequence that we've had. You know, look at the last 2 summers. We talked about this, I believe. Our past 2 summers, not this summer, but the previous 2, were our safest summer in decades. We focused so much because what happens during the summer? Homicides increase historically. We were able to get that down with our community efforts. We were not able to do that this year.
Well, we got to take a brief break, but one of the things, since you're not going to do Boo with the Blue, I do want to start a petition. We still want to see Coppola in that Dracula outfit on Halloween. If he could work in that Dracula outfit on Halloween, we think that'd be a plus.
We got a call for you, gentlemen, and we're going to ask that caller, HB in Denham Springs, please hang on through the commercial, which we're going to do right now. This is Exiles TV, and we'll be right back.
Well, the other thing that's interesting, it showed Murphy.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Right now, choose any new 20 Mazda and get 0% for 60 months, plus 90 days deferred payments during the Team Mazda upgrade event happening now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back, Exiles TV. Our guests are Police Chief Murphy Paul, Police Chief of Baton Rouge, and the Chief Administrative Officer for the City Parish of East Baton Rouge, Daryl Gissel, is with us. Bill, do we have a business to take care of?
15 seconds of your time before we get to your phone calls with these two gentlemen. On November 3rd, on your ballot, there are more constitutional amendments, and we would urge you to vote yes on Constitutional Amendment 4. Here's why. If you are tired of hearing every year that we've got a fiscal cliff facing Louisiana, and you want predictability and stability in your budget process, Amendment 4 requires that. So we would ask you to vote for Amendment 4, vote yes on November 3rd for stability and for economic growth in Louisiana. This message paid for by PelicanAction.org. For more information on this amendment and all the amendments, visit them online, PelicanAction.org, and we thank you.
All right, we're going to a phone call. HB in Denham Springs has waited patiently. HB, hi, you're on live.
Good morning. Chief, I have a question for you. It's about the criminal justice system. I read in the paper where you commented that your officers are telling you that they become weary of arresting the same people over and over again. For some history on this, they were saying that when I got hired in the late 60s. We were saying it when I retired in the early 90s. If the system worked and punishment fit the crime, we wouldn't be doing that. Do you agree or disagree? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your question. I agree. Look, these are one of those cultural things when we look at criminal justice as a whole that we have to address. And as you know, it's bigger than law enforcement. There are other systems in the criminal justice that have to address this. I tell you, my police, particularly my street crime division, they've been focusing on what we call that 6%, that small group of individuals who are responsible for the violent crime here in our city. And they're saying it's the same guys they're coming in contact with. So we have to do better than that. And hopefully some of the programs that we're putting in place are going to help that, because it's not just about law enforcement, it's about the entire criminal justice system.
And I might add that we have a criminal justice coordinating council in Baton Rouge, which is made up of the chief, the sheriff, the judges, the DA, the public defender, all of those groups collectively trying to resolve some of those issues where we have the repetitive activity going on. And it's interesting, even the public defender, people think, oh, the public defender's there just to help people get out. They are engaged also in trying to make certain that those same people don't come back, because it creates issues for them. So we really are trying to tie those services together best we can. Not easy.
To this point,
HB, did that answer your question, sir?
I think HB is hung up.
Okay.
He was listening over his television.
Yeah. So I do agree with him.
Yeah, to that question, though, are we working at cross purposes? We don't hear about this, for example, in the federal system, where there is no parole, where you do all of your time except for maybe 5% for good time, where there's very little in the way of pretrial diversion. Now, again, they don't have the volume of crime
I was
in the
going to say,
federal
federal
system.
prisons usually aren't overcrowded.
Right. But again, if your men and women acting in good faith respond to a call, and they find somebody in possession of a stolen vehicle, and this person has been charged, convicted, and released 4 times in the past, sooner or later you've got to say this is absurd. They're not doing enough time.
And we've tried, like with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, and make sure, and I think Murphy would back this up, that we've tried to make certain that if officers are having those repetitive issues, we want to know. I mean, Hiller's explained that from the DA's end, he'll do what he can. But it's important for us to know if somebody sees that happening, where we can try and correct it.
Yeah, look, we understand that, and we understand the community's frustration, with these shooting incidents that have happened. And we are doing everything. We reached out to our federal partners. U.S. Attorney just did a press release this week on federal indictments that we've been working with our partners at the FBI, state police, and the sheriff's office, in our task force, trying to look at how we get these individuals in the federal system, so that we don't have to deal with them again and terrorizing our communities here. So we are actively working with our federal partners in doing that.
And I think the other question is, how do we catch people early in the system? We discover every day we have a huge number of programs that can catch youth that are having issues, who are doing poorly in school. The JAG program, there's a program called BRAMI. We have juvenile services, so we're struggling every day to try and pull all those things together to make sure we're maximizing the effect. And I think one of the mayor's biggest jobs is trying to coordinate all those services that are out there. It's huge.
We called our federal partners, and we called the U.S. Marshal's office, and we said, U.S. Marshal, we sat down with them in a meeting with the sheriff's office, state police, everyone there, and said, look, we have these offenders, some repeat offenders that are on the streets, and we need your help. We started that over a month ago. We identified over 25. We got every single one but 3. I just got that email. We got 2 within the last couple of days. They're also arresting those who are wanted for homicides. I believe we have 2 today, 1 today and 2 yesterday. that just came out. So our federal partners are actively at the table helping us get these individuals off the streets.
We've got about 2 minutes left. I have heard you on several occasions look directly into the lens of a camera and ask for the public to help the police. Are they getting the message? Are we getting a little more help from the community?
Yeah, so, some of the things that I look at is those clearance rates, because you're not clearing homicides without the community's help. Crime Stoppers, who've been a great partner of ours, and I'm starting to get emails. I got one the other day from a parent, and no one I know, I didn't ask where she heard it from, I sent it. She said that her kids are having issues with some other kids, and she needs help before it gets out of hand. So we assigned that out to one of our police officers to see what's going on. Can we identify services or refer them to a program? So I got a call right after that, one of my press conferences. So that's what we want the community to do.
And we actually have a program of mothers who have lost children to violence, and they're actually out in the community trying to rally people to get engaged.
That's called Change, and she just sent me a email the other day, say, Chief, we here, what else we need? We got it from one of our local promoters, asked, hey, how can we help, in the community to stop this violence? So a lot of people are coming forward, and through the mayor's initiative, A Safe and Healthy Baton Rouge. We had a meeting yesterday with Truce and some of our other partners, where we're talking about some long-term strategies that are going to deal with this with a focus on community intervention and prevention.
Well, there aren't any easy answers, but I think putting some of the questions out in front of people so they understand them a little better is always helpful. And
absolutely.
We'd love to have you fellas. You do well together. We're going to have you all back again.
Yeah, we'll come here as often as you would like us.
Make a little road show out of it. As for us, we want to remind you there's a replay of this show at 10 p.m. And of course, Clarence Buggs live in just a few minutes in this very slot.
Right here.
So until we meet again, stay well, be careful, and try to enjoy life a little bit.
And God bless. Take care.
I usually see you guys at 10 p.m.